Let's be honest, we all have that neighbor. You know the one. Lights blazing so bright you could land a plane in their driveway. It's like the Griswolds moved in next door. And whether you love it or roll your eyes, those twinkling, glowing masterpieces come at a cost. But what does all that holiday cheer cost? The moment daylight saving times ends, the light show begins. Orange and purple for Halloween, Diwali fireworks sparkling through the night, Thanksgiving pumpkins glowing, Hanukkah menorahs flickering, and then Christmas lights hit like a freight train of glitter and LEDs.
Ho, ho, ho!
I'm your host, Danielle, and this is Naked Nuclear. Today, we're diving into what a watt actually is and why you should care, how much energy your neighbor's holiday light wonderland might be eating up, the difference between incandescent and LED lights, and of course, 3 quick tips to keep your holiday lights safe, sparkling, and cost-effective. So, grab some cocoa, plug in that inflatable Santa, and let's shed some light on holiday energy use. First, please tell me you enjoyed my pun of this episode title, I Don't Want a Watt for Christmas. But what's a watt? Think of a watt as the basic unit of power. It tells us how much energy a device uses every second. So, 1 watt equals energy flow, like water dripping out of a faucet slowly. But when lights and appliances need more power, it's like turning up that faucet to a faster flow. Okay, then, what's a kilowatt? A kilowatt is 1,000 watts. 1,000 watts equals 1 kilowatt. That's like turning on 10 old-school incandescent Christmas tree lights all at once. Next, kilowatt hours. Kilowatt hours are energy over time. If you keep those same 10 Christmas tree lights strung out, running for an hour, you would use 1 kilowatt hour of energy. So the example would be if you got one 100-watt bulb on for 10 hours, that's 1 kilowatt hour, or 1,000 watt hours, because, 100 times 10. Now, imagine your neighbor covering their house in 1,000 feet of glowing Christmas lights. Those watts add up fast. But if there's one thing you and your neighbor can agree on, it's that LED lights are the superior Christmas light. So let's get into it. Incandescent versus LED lights. Incandescence, a single bulb, can use 5 to 10 watts. However, LEDs use 0.5 watts per bulb. So let's say you have a 1,000-foot strand of old incandescent lights. Those might use up to 4,000 watts. But LED lights on the same length use less than 400 watts. That's like 90% savings. So incandescent lights for 5 hours a day is going to be super expensive, way more expensive than LED lights for the same duration. Far less money, making them wallet-friendly and planet-friendly. But how much money are we talking? That depends on the energy price of the state you're living in. High-cost states like California, Massachusetts, New York can see anywhere between 25 and 30 cents per kilowatt hour. Medium-cost states like Colorado, Texas, and Florida can see about 14 cents per kilowatt hour. Low-cost states like Idaho, Wyoming, and Louisiana can see almost 10 cents per kilowatt hour. Let's say your neighbor's lights use about 500 watts for 5 hours every night. That's 2.5 kilowatt hours per day. So in California, it would cost around 75 cents. In Texas, it's around 35 cents. And in Wyoming, you'll pay closer to 27 cents. So if your neighbor has some of those larger inflatables, those can take up to 250 watts per inflatable if they're pretty big. Now, let's say they have about 7 of them in their yard and run them for 5 hours. That's 8.75 kilowatt hours. At 14 cents a kilowatt hour for 42 days, right after Thanksgiving all the way to January 3rd, That's $51.45 for 7 large inflatables, run for 5 hours a day for 42 days. But there's a bit of a Grinch in the energy grid. Peak energy hours. Most energy grids experience peak hours in the early evening, just when we're turning on our holiday lights. This can increase the strain on the grid and energy prices. So let's use an example. Let's say your lights use 500 watts and you run them for 5 hours per day, where energy is 14 cents per kilowatt hour. During peak hours between 4 and 9 p.m., energy costs about 35 cents per day. Over 30 days, that's $10.50 for the month. In some parts of the country, if you run them during off-peak hours, usually after 9 p.m., they can give you a discount. And that discount is around 10 cents per kilowatt hour, making your energy costs 25 cents per day. Over 30 days, that's $7.50 for the month. So again, during peak hours, you're looking at $10.50. Off-peak hours, $7.50. So let's say your neighbor's house uses an average of 30 kilowatt hours per day. Adding Christmas lights, as well as 7 inflatables, could bump that number up to 41.25 kilowatt hours per day. So that means in some parts of the country, your neighbors could be paying up to $500,000 from the end of Thanksgiving to January 3rd for their household energy and their holiday displays. But hey, I'm no Grinch. I love driving around to see all of the lights. And just to spread a little holiday cheer, I'm going to give you 3 tips to stay safe during the holidays. Number 1, use timers. Save energy by programming lights to turn off automatically after bedtime. Your wallet will thank you. Number 2, avoid daisy chaining extension cords. Too many cords strung together can overheat. Stick to the safe limit. And as a firefighter, I must say, if the cord looks like it needs to be thrown out, throw it out. Number 3, upgrade to LEDs. I don't really need to convince you to do this because most of us have already made the switch, but if you haven't, upgrade to LEDs. They are safer, cooler to the touch, and way more energy efficient. I also don't want you to burn your house down during the holidays. That's all for today, but just remember, holiday lights bring the magic to our neighborhoods, but they don't have to cost a fortune. Switch to LEDs, keep an eye on those energy prices, and light safely so you can enjoy the season stress-free. Upcoming episodes for Naked Nuclear include me chatting with world-renowned hydrogeologists, understanding the philosophies of physics and nuclear science, learning about the YTT tribe and their relationship with the Diablo Canyon nuclear power plant, as well as why a firefighter would ever leave firefighting to become a nuclear engineer. I'm your host, Danielle Allen. Thank you for listening to Naked Nuclear. Stay curious and happy holidays.